Okay, so for our title, now I'm writing a little smaller than I usually do, but it's solve equations, I'm just going to abbreviate, equations by add or subtract. Solve equations by adding or subtracting. Adding or subtracting. Add or subtract. Okay, so what's the goal? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? We're trying to get variable, that's the letter, alone. That's what we're trying to do, to get the variable alone. To get variable alone. That's our goal. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to get the variable alone? Okay, we're going to do that by using inverse, or we'll say use the inverse operation. By using the inverse operation. And so what is inverse? Inverse is basically opposite. That's what inverse means. It means the opposite. Okay? What about operation? What does operation mean? It means add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Those are operations. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. And we want to do the opposite of those. Okay, I'm going to write to the side, and just to the side over here, and you may want to wait until I write it before you write yours. But if you have x plus a number, then you subtract that number. That's using opposite operations. That's using inverse operations. If it's plus a number, you subtract the number. And let's say if it is x minus some number, then what would you do? You would add the number. Hopefully that makes sense. So if it's x plus a number, you would subtract the number. If it's x minus a number, you would add the number. You do the opposite. If it's plus a number, you subtract a number. If it's subtract a number, you add the number. That's what we mean by inverse operations. Okay, so now I'm just gonna separate this. And then what we're going to do is solve, and then we'll check. We're going to solve a number, and then solve a problem, and then check the problem. All right, so I wrote the problem here, the equation, and it is x plus 6 equals 4. I rewrote it again. X plus 6 equals 4, because I'm going to check it over here. I'm going to check our answer, or we will check our answer. All right, so let's take a look. We have x plus 6 equals 4, x plus 6 equals 4. Now this is adding 6, So we do the opposite. We subtract 6. Now, we need to do that on both sides. As a matter of fact, some people will even draw a little line here because you have a left side and a right side. You have a left and a right. So if I subtract 6 on this side, then I need to subtract 6 on the other side. Because we have to keep it balanced. We have to keep it equals. Now when doing that, notice that this will become 0 and you are left with just x. On the other side, 4 and negative 6, 6 negatives, 4 positives, that would be negative 2. They call this the solution. The answer, but it's also called the solution. We think the solution is negative 2. Now, to check this, we take this answer, negative 2, and we plug it right in there, back into the problem to see if it's correct. So I'm going to put negative 2, I should maybe make it red. I'll put negative 2 right over there. And I want to see if the left side will equal the right side if I plug it in. And let's see what happens. Negative 2 plus 6, well, 6 minus is 4. This side is 4, and this side is 4. So what does that tell us? That tells us we are correct. Sometimes they use the word true, that the solution is true. Or you could say, yes, our answer is correct. If the left side equals right side, we are correct. All right, so the answer was negative 2. We plug it in to see if it works. Now, we'll just do this one more time, and then after that, we'll just do it mentally. We won't have to write all this stuff. This is a lot of writing. And I'm trying to save a little space, so I'm just going to separate it. And here's our next problem. I'll just raise this up. So here's a problem, x minus 4, the equation. X minus 4 equals negative 5. I'm going to repeat it here because I'm going to check it here. X minus 4 equals negative 5. All right, now remember there's two sides to the equation. There's a left side and a right side. And we want the letter by itself. To get this letter by itself, the variable, that's minus 4, I add 4. All right, and if I add 4 on this side, then I have to add 4 on the other side. And if I do that, let's see, this becomes 0 and you are left with x. On the right side, we have negative 4, negative 5 plus 4. Negative 5 plus 4, that's more negative by 1. Negative 1. That's what I think the answer is. I think the answer is negative 1. How do I check it? I take this negative 1 and I plug it back in there for x. You know, I'd put it right here. But I rewrote the problem, so now I'll check that. I'm putting negative 1 in there for x. And I want to see, is the left side equal to the right side? Well, let's see, negative 1 and negative 4. Negative 1 and negative 4 is negative 5. See that? The left side equals the right side. That means that our answer is true. The solution is true. And I'm going to write this one more time. Solution. This is the answer, also called a solution. We plug it in just to check it, and it's true. Now again, we don't have to do this to every problem. We can do this mentally. We can just plug it in mentally. Okay, so now we're going to do some examples, some more examples down below. We'll do 6, because they're very short. And all of these, you can find the answer. You could do it in your head, most of you. But we're just practicing the process. So I'm going to try and do, I'm just showing you about how much room we need. So I'm going to do 3, and then another 3. Now, if you can't fit that in your paper, then that's okay. Just put it on the other side. No worries. So here's our first problem. Let me just zoom in on that. So we have 25 plus x equals 40. So what do I do? Let's see. Well, I got to get rid of the 25, right? You have two sides, and some people even draw a line right down here. You have two sides, a left and right. You want the letter by itself? You need to get rid of 25. To get rid of 25, let's see, would I add 25? If I add 25, that'd make 50. That did not get rid of the answer. I want to subtract 25. And if I subtract 25, that will give me just the variable x. And on the right side, if I subtract 25 here, I have to subtract 25 over there. 40, take away 25. That's 15. Now mentally, if you just plug this in there mentally, 25 and 15, yeah, that makes 40. Okay, number 2, we have x minus 3 equals 8. So you have a left and right side, x minus 3 equals 8. Now, I'll show you what I do. A lot of times, I want to get rid of the minus 3, so I add 3. Now, I'll add 3 over this side also. And sometimes I'll just draw a line all the way across. That's just how I do it. That's how I roll. And then you can see that these two will cancel out, right? They become 0. 0. And so what are you left with? You're left with just the letter x. You got it by itself. On the right side, 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay, so the answer is x equals 11. Now don't worry so much about the answer, just practice the process. And if I plug this in there, 11 minus 3, well, that is 8. Okay, number 3. Four equals x plus 6. So you have a left and right side. Left side, right side. You want the letter by itself. So to get rid of I need to get rid of plus 6. So I would subtract 6. But you have to do it to the other side too. And if you want to draw a line all the way across, you can, like that. And this is your equals, right? Okay, so this right here becomes 0. 6 minus 6 is 0, and you are left with just the letter x. That's the goal. On the other side is our answer. 6 negatives, 4 positives. That's negative 2. And if you plug this in there, you could see that 6 and negative 2, 6 minus 2 is 4. It works. Okay, so now let's go to number 4. We zoom in. So we have negative 12 equals x minus 20. Negative 12 equals x minus 20. Now remember, you have a left and a right side. So let's see. We want the letter by itself. So get rid of minus 20. You do the opposite. You add 20. But do the same to the other side. That's how you know what to put down. You look to what gets rid of, what gets the letter by itself. Adding 20 does. So let's see. If I add 20, notice how this becomes 0. I just have x. Right? Because these two make 0. Then I have negative 12 plus 20. So let's see. That's like 20 take away 12. 20 take away 12 is 8. Positive 8, right? Because there's more positive. And that is your answer. Now if you take 8 and put in there, 8 minus 20 is negative 12. It does work out. Okay, number 5. 24 equals 14 plus x. So remember, you have a left and a right side. Again, you don't have to put a line through it. And so let's see, what are we going to do? Are we going to get rid of 24 or get rid of 14? Get rid of 14. Now, am I going to do I add 14 or do I subtract 14? Subtract 14. Okay. Well, if I do that here, I need to do it to the other side. You have to keep it all balanced. All right, so if I do that, this is 0. And you're just left with the letter x. There's my equal. See, I keep it lined up. And on this side, 24 take away 14. Oh. Okay, that's just the simple math right there. Now if you put 10 over here for x, 14 and 10, that's 24. Look, it works. It would make sense. It would be true. Okay, our last one. Okay, so you have a left and a right side. Now some people even go like this. You have a left and a right side. I want the letter by, so I'm going to get rid of the 4, the minus 4. Negative 4, to get rid of that, I add 4. But you know what? You need to do it to the other side. Okay, so what does that leave us with? So let's see, these become 0, right? That's 0, so you're just left with the letter x, the variable x. Bring down my equals. Now I have negative 20 plus 4. Well, I know there's more negative. There's more mince, for example. So it would be negative 16, right? 20 take away 4 is 16. Would that work? Let's see, negative 16. If I put that there, negative 4 and negative 16. That is negative 20. Our solution is correct. Now, if you have problems that kind of cram together, you can always just sort of, separate it so it looks a little bit better for you. Mine, I just happen to get mine spread out nice and neat. All right, great job, people.